Welcome to Extraordinary Ability with your host, Candice Ackermann. Every episode celebrates foreign nationals with extraordinary abilities who qualify for O1, EB1, and IW visas. Learn how you may qualify, especially if you have been denied other U.S. visas. You can find this show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on www.visalawpros.com. Now here's the host of Extraordinary Ability, Candice Ackermann.
Hello, everyone. I'm Candice Ackermann, founder and managing attorney of visalawpros.com. This is episode 6 of Extraordinary Ability podcast, and I'm so delighted to introduce an amazing guest today. Her name is SusieQ. Welcome, Susie. And please tell everyone where you are from and what is the area of your extraordinary ability.
Oh my goodness, Miss Candice Ackermann, thank you so much for having me. Your show is amazing. You are extraordinary. So I am honored to be here with you. Thank you for having me. My name is, everyone calls me SusieQ. I'm Susie Wong Benjamin, and I am from Toronto, Canada. That's where I was born. That's where I was from. And now I reside in New York City. Thanks to you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you. Thank you for making this happen.
Amazing. So before we got acquainted and we secured an O1 visa for you, tell us just briefly, what were you working on? Tell us a little bit about your professional career in Canada. Oh, I don't know if you mentioned what the area of your extraordinary ability is.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, but just give us some of the I think you had a panoply of skills and things, and you were trying to create a patchwork, if I recall. Back in Canada, you had a lot of different interests. So one of the aims of our strategy was to sort of like synergize and focus and thread the needle and come up with, exactly the, strategic focus of where we were going to go with your visa category, because you had a lot of, you had a varied background. So share with us a little bit about your professional life in Canada before we got acquainted.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, so when I started off as a little girl in Canada, I was always drawn to, physical exercise, working out. I've come from a heavyset family, and I always enjoyed, things like tennis and handball and just playing with kids and stuff. But when I really, my first love was really television. And I started watching something back in the day that is called the 20-minute workout. And it was something you could just watch at home. It was something available in Canada, but I think it was also here in the States. And you basically just needed to work out in your living room. You didn't need anything. You could throw on a pair of shoes and start working out. And when I started working out and doing all these exercises, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved the music. I loved the instructor. Her name was Bess Moda, and she was awesome. So when in school, in elementary school, I remember in phys ed, I actually started leading the warm-up classes and exercises before we actually began the activities. And I remember the kids are like, "Oh, don't let Susie do the exercise again. Oh, she's gonna kill us. Oh my goodness." It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed that. I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is great." So I enjoyed it back then, and I knew this is something that I'd better keep up with, because even back then you knew about being healthy, and it wasn't even about living a long life or your best life, but it was just something that was fun, and also that could maybe make you look like Barbie, whatever it took. It's like, okay, Barbie looks like she's having fun. Let's go there. Let's whatever it's going to take to get us there. So I started working in the gyms, and I was doing things with the YMCA. In Brampton, actually. So we moved out of Toronto. We're in Brampton, and I started working at a gym called Canadian Bodyworks. And I still keep in touch with some of those people today. And Craig was one of the gym managers, and they were just really inspiring. And John, in terms of that's when I started learning about protein shakes and protein powders and protein bars, and it's like, wow, you have to have this this regimen, this tight nutrition plan if you really wanted to get ripped, if you wanted to look good. So it was more than just running on the treadmill and doing all of these things. And then we started getting competitive as staffers and employees and stuff, and we were just like doing these fitness challenges. Who's gonna drop the most weight and body fat, and then this is what it's gonna cost you, and the loser pays. And we do all these fun things, and it was great. And I'd always walk around the neighborhood. I didn't have a driver's license or a car then, so I walked everywhere, at a high school, through the snowstorms, anywhere. It was just I'd have icicles on my legs, on my calves, and stuff. It was just great. I mean, truly Canadian to walk through the snow.
Uphill both ways.
Yeah.
So your two loves, if I remember, this is what I remember about you. And it's too bad that you can't get a green card based on charisma, because if your extraordinary ability was charisma, you'd get an immediate approval, premium processing, hands down. But your two loves essentially were media and fitness.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to fast forward a little bit to when we met. We met through a networking group, and you said, I really want to come to the US. It's a dream of mine. And I'm not sure which direction to take because I really love working in media. And at that time I said, well, where do you work out now? And you were working out in, I think, Gold's Gym, right? Somewhere in Midtown.
Yes.
And remind me, because I remember the hook or the thing that sort of captured my attention in terms of trying to figure out the strategy for your case to keep us on a very focused path. Was that there was some celebrity that trained in your gym with you. Can you share with us a little bit about, I don't know if you're not allowed to talk about that, but there were people working out in your gym who were, prominently known, interesting characters, and that stood out in my mind. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yes, I do remember that. Oh my goodness. And I did skip the television because I did work at Chum Television in Toronto as well. And then coming to the US and meeting you was just glorious. So working out at Gold's Gym, along with a couple other gyms that I'd be teaching classes at and training, is there was a gentleman who was a former basketball player, an NBA player, and he was just a great personality, still is. And we've trained together, and I've trained other people and clients in the gym. And I didn't see exactly what you saw, Candy. I didn't see that, wow, this could be an opportunity to actually do something. And that was great because I didn't realize the resources that surrounded me and the opportunities that surrounded me, because through that, this experience, it kind of led to me meeting Jody Samuels, getting involved with the Jewish networking group and training Jody and becoming a part of a special knit community and learning about a culture that I hadn't been exposed to before. In Canada, it's very multicultural, but I didn't have my Jewish peeps with me. And now I'm considered Jewish. So I'm very proud of that. And with that, and I owe so much to you and to Jody as well for making so much happen for me. Because with that opportunity, allowed me to be on The View. Remember the TV show The View, because it's still on the air, and getting this opportunity to be seen and do some makeover. And Sherry Shepherd was like, oh, you've got those Michelle Obama arms. And that's how this whole thing kind of came about. And I remember Jody said, Susie, don't let this moment pass away. Don't let it be a flash in the pan. Do something with it. And then I remember speaking with you and also your mom and realizing, wait a minute, maybe we could create a DVD here. And maybe that could actually help in the journey and the path that I want to take in being able to do what I have been doing as a personality and as a personal trainer and as a fitness instructor, and creating the Arms of a First Lady Fitness DVD. And the DVD is actually what, ironically, even brought me in contact with the man that I am now married to today, a former politician. Like, when does that happen? And but that's thanks to you and the vision that you had in being able to create a product and to take advantage of an opportunity and the contacts that I had. And that basketball player was, I believe his name was Abdul. So it
I
was
remember him. I took pictures with him. I think he was like double my height.
oh, he's super tall. I better give him a call afterwards too.
I
Just so
just want to fill in the viewers quickly because on the podcast, I do try to give some little practice pointers as part of the narrative of the client story, which is, and on this case, it's just interesting that I worked with Susie. We sat down and she said, well, what categories, for staying and working in the US might I qualify for? And I said, well, this is kind of interesting. Maybe there's a way we can weave in your eligibility based on the people that you're training and meeting. And I said, these are the criterion for the O1.
yes.
And at the time, it didn't seem like we could carefully check off at least 3 out of 6 of the boxes. But the practice pointer here is that often, or not often, occasionally, or in certain case-by-case basis, and in Susie's case, this was the situation where if we kind of frame the contours of what a person eligible for the category, what boxes we can check or what boxes we're aiming to check, you can develop the case having in mind what the end game is. So I said to Susie, for you to qualify, we'd need to be able to show, A, B, and C. And then Susie went out and executed on that to a very high, with great success. She appeared in a lot of media venues and outlets. Do you want to name some of them?
Yeah, sure, of course, because that's
fun.
So
And once she was able to go and get her name out and do those things based on the fact, based on her skill set, we then had the information and the evidence that we needed to then prepare her case and file with success. So I'll let you share your own story, Susie, but just to fill in the gaps for people that at the time we were discussing it, we weren't able to make the case. And then when I explained to her, what the end game looks like, she then went back and revisited that and came back to me later, and we were able to make the case. So sometimes if you explain to people where they need, give them some guidelines about where they need to get to, and they're able to execute on that, then you might have the makings of a case. Maybe not at the time you're starting the conversation, but by the time you've ended the conversation, you very may well have a case. So go ahead, Susie.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's what's so cool about you, Candy, is that you had this, it's like you just had this foresight and you know exactly what to do to make magic happen. And that's why it's like, oh my goodness, my life has changed having you in it. And I'm so happy to have met you and to just be a part of that, to make this happen. So when you exactly started planting the seeds, and I realized, oh my goodness, so maybe if I can just capture more spots and doing the media spots on TV and being able to promote this DVD, this is something that my heart sings. It's like, that's what I'd love to do. So I'm better do it and make some calls and send out, all the media packages and such, which I did, which secured a spot on the Dr. Oz TV show, which was one of my favorites. And I think that made my mom really happy. She's not here with us anymore, but she was just like so excited because, hey, Mr. Oz, that's like Oprah Winfrey's, true friend at the time. So it was like really, really cool being able to dance and energize and show people some moves. It was great. And then also, of course, doing this, getting this idea from The View, having that sparked from The View was truly an amazing opportunity, and being able to showcase moves to help people get those Michelle Obama arms was just amazing. So doing Good Morning America spots, like all of these things were just the icing on the cake. But really, I guess the cherry on top was working with you and allowing me the ability to be able to secure that O1 visa. That
Well,
O1.
that segues to my next question that I do like to ask clients that come on the show, just briefly, because you're the star of the episode. So I don't like to direct it back to me too much, but I do like clients to share, what was their experience like working with me and my firm, just to showcase, because, when you deal with a professional, it's like a doctor. There's a lot of people who work in the field and you have a personal relationship with them. So I like clients who are success cases to talk a little bit about, what their feedback is in working with me and my firm. If you'd like to share, just
Oh,
briefly.
absolutely. Well, the experience was, like I said, it's magnificent because you're a professional, you have the vision, you're a visionary, you know exactly what is needed to create the ingredients to make this magic happen. And that's something you absolutely did. Visiting your office in Manhattan and just you just make anyone feel so comfortable. So that's what's important, because before meeting you and going through different attorneys and even just trying to call and connect, there's a lack of interest there. But with you, it's like you truly are a friend to your clients. You actually care, you have heart and that concern. And that is something that is unique, and that's something that's missing from a lot of the other firms. And there can only be one Candice Ackermann. So everyone should be knocking on your door. But that ability to let people realize what they're capable of doing and securing. So just listening to you speak and hearing like, hey, these are the points. This is what we need to focus on. Because like a cat, I could get distracted. But you were keeping me on point. And it's like, okay, this is what you have to do. Then this is all of the things that I'm going to do, because now I don't want to let you down, because you pour so much of your time and your energy into this, and you truly want to see that success happen. And that is just priceless. Candice, that's priceless.
Thank you so much. I think that's enough. I'm going to get embarrassed. So
Okay, so then
I'm going to end that question there. But I do have another one that I like to ask the clients, and just share briefly for us. And then I am going to ask you if you have any impromptu, in one of the other episodes, a client did perform during the podcast. So I'm going to see if you want to share any of your original exercises or anything that you can with the viewers. But before that, I do want to just ask you if you could just briefly share with us, from the time that we did get your O visa to now, tell us just briefly a little bit about how you were able to, where did you develop your career? Like, where did it take you professionally? And if you want to share with us also, I guess you alluded to it already, like how being in the US also advanced your personal life too. And so just being able to stay and work here, accelerated, advanced your cause on the professional as well as personal front. So share with us a little bit about what happened next.
Okay, so I'll tell you, but I have to get back to my Jewish moms. So that's your mommy who was guiding me and directing me, even as we were putting and crafting the DVD and being able to promote this health and wellness. The focus really, even though we were talking about the First Lady and the arms of the First Lady, and people are looking at Michelle Obama, we knew that Michelle Obama is not going to be the First Lady forever. But yeah, her title will be First Lady, but we're going to have more First Ladies. But what your mom helped me with is letting women know, because this is truly empowering women and empowering people that also want to have an opportunity to work in the States and to connect with you, Candice, so they can get to this level of extraordinary ability so they can begin a new life for themselves. Is that the importance here was that every woman is a first lady, and every woman and man as well should be able to put themselves first. If you fail to put yourself first, no one will ever put you first. And those words are golden today. Your mom is so smart. She's so wise. So this is something that I think has inspired a lot of other people, because now it's just beyond fitness. And this is part of almost owning those skills, to having that mental health, and being able to take care of yourself, because that's something that it is so easy to forget about over time. Now, what the DVD creation has helped me today, and I want to also say this, is that when I was a little girl and coming up, I also had a cousin who was Sandra Lee, and she's into fitness. We have different body types, but she loved it, and a lot of that inspiration came from her. And so I also want to make mention of that. But today, what's happened is, since creating the DVD, I did meet a gentleman, and it was in Harlem, because that's where I was living at the time. At the Harlem Tavern is where it happened, and we met. And who knew that this man, who is Michael Benjamin, is a former assemblyman of the Bronx, and he's now at the New York Post, and he really became a true cheerleader for me, and just wanted to see it go even further. And I'm working with the New York schools, and I started doing something with the food fight, and creating an oversized hamburger, soda, and bag of chips, to kind of get the kids' attention, so kids could see, wait a minute, you can still enjoy some of these foods and snacks, but make sure you're eating healthy, and incorporating those things, because our kids are going to be our future. So we want to make sure we're getting the kids involved. And then later on, I actually became a mother after getting married, of course. And because, listen, my other Jewish mom, Jody Samuels, she actually was one of the ladies that said, okay, Susie, this could be the future, man. This could be the husband. This is it. Your mensch. And I was like, really? Okay. So I wasn't seeing that. And sometimes you need good people in your life to show you the things that you don't see. And that's you too, Candice. It's like, you know what, you have two eyes, but you really don't have the vision. You could have the prescription glasses and you still can't see the obvious. And that's why we need to surround ourselves with beautiful, positive people. And if you're lucky and you're part of a Jewish community, hey, even better. So
I love what you said, though. I love how you sort of drew in the connection between physical health, mental health, and then drawing in the attraction to, the right partner and companion. And I do think there is some relationship between all of those things. And I'm working on another project along those lines, but that's not for this podcast. But I do want to ask if you will oblige all of us and the viewers if there's any exercises or short breathing stretches, exercises from either Arms of the First Lady or SusieQ originals. Let's say you're an anxious person living in Manhattan, SusieQ, and they say, hey, what can I do, to restore my mindfulness before I go to work, or I'm about to have a really important business meeting, or I'm just not feeling great overall. Do you have any SusieQ original tips or stretches or breathing exercise that you can share with Facebook land and the YouTube viewers for us right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and typically what I do, Candice, is I'm always used to providing that stretch physically, hands on with the client. So I'm like, twisting them into a pretzel, and creating relief there. But also, I didn't get to mention that I'm now a mom of two. So I have two boys, 8 and 5 years old, and they're both on the spectrum. So now things are a little more intricate with me, in terms of now being exposed to a world where you're dealing with few more challenges, and some frustrations when you're not always able to clearly communicate and do these things. And I speak to so many moms that also are like, very tense, filled with anxiety, and don't really know how to release a lot of the stress. So one of the things, yeah, there are breathing techniques, and sometimes it's even hard to just get a free moment to find that quiet time and space. And sometimes you got to wake up early in the morning to do it, because that's when your phone is not ringing and the emails are not, blowing up and off the chain. It's a moment that you can find for yourself, just to close your eyes and to reflect on things. Many people don't even want to hear themselves think. So the TV is on, the radio's blasting, but you need that moment to just find some peace of mind for yourself and to reflect and see what you can do. Then when you can physically have a moment, I'll see exactly how I can set myself up here. Is this is my little, can you see me okay?
Yeah, and I'm not going to mirror this, just in case anybody's scared. I'm not getting up and doing it right now. We'll watch Susie do it.
Of course. Well, no, I won't do anything too complicated or too complex. One of the things with the Arms of First Lady DVD is always, there's a lot of stress and tension within shoulders and neck. All right. So one of the things that you always want to do is be able to roll shoulders, release, be able to rotate the head and neck, which is, of course, we're not reinventing the wheel here, but this is something that just to help release and just loosen up a lot of that tension. Arm across the chest. You can place that arm above the shoulder here and just giving that elbow a gentle nudge. You want to be able to breathe in, bend the knees, inhale all the way up. Come on down, scoop the air, scoop the world. Come back up, breathe in, inhale, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and be able to stretch. You can even use your fingertips if you can touch the floor. Candice, can you touch the floor? And then you're going to walk those hands all the way over. So you're getting a stretch throughout the back of the hamstrings and gluteus maximus and calves, which is really wonderful. But mainly also the low back. You're going to feel that stretch as well. But as you come up, you place your hands in your low back and you can stretch and extend further back. And I can even turn sideways here, so that way you can see that. Bring the chin up to the chest, to the ceiling, from your chest to the ceiling, all the way back. So you're feeling that low back stretch. You'd be surprised the amount of tightness that is in the back. Sometimes people feel it when they wake up in the morning, getting out of bed. Some stretches you can do before you even get out of bed. Because sometimes people are not inspired to get up out of bed. So, they keep hitting that snooze button. So one of the things that you can do if you were in bed, how about I recreate a bed? Should I recreate a bed, Candice? We have time.
You have the floor for another few minutes.
Literally the floor. So now you can actually come on down if you were in bed. So I'm recreating the bed. And now I'm stretching all the way up. And I'm doing that same thing where you're bringing the chin up towards the ceiling, but you're holding that stretch so you can feel that throughout the low back. You can lower back down, or you can even, here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop it like it's hot. We're going to bring that booty all the way back towards the heels of your feet. So that way you're feeling it. Now, the thing is that these are the things that I like to do with clients when I can put my hands on them, because now I can start to, remember I told you like a pretzel, you can kind of maneuver the body and do some things that surprises people. They don't realize, oh my goodness, I didn't know that I'm that flexible. I didn't know that my body would do that, because we're not always trying to do it. And that is really key. No matter what happens, and it goes back to your mom, Candice, is you have to put yourself first, and we have to make the time to take care of ourselves. And whether you are a parent or not, you still need to find time. I was actually speaking to another mom, and I told her, she's at her wit's end. She feels like she can snap at any point. And, we've seen these things. And sometimes we see it on another level when you're watching the news. And you just don't want to get to that point where you're boiling over like a kettle. You just want to make sure that you've got self-care down. That's
100%.
important. You
I
have
love
to
that
take care of
message.
yourself.
I
And
love that.
because you're no good to anyone else if you're not good to yourself, because you're not going to be here long enough to help take care of anybody, whether you're taking care of a loved one, parent that is aging, or children, what have you. You cannot take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself. And you have to
100%.
mentally.
So, Susie, before we just wrap up, because we just have a limited amount of time, but before we wrap up, if people want to learn a little bit more about you or see what you've done, or if you're able to, I don't know if you're offering services at the current time, but if people want to access you or learn more about you or reach out to you, what is a good way for them to do that?
Oh my goodness, I guess.
Unless you don't want that.
No. I you know what? I guess I should, and I do, because I really do love helping others, because that's really important. Just again, getting that peace of mind. I guess they can do that via email. Also, I do have a website, but I apologize because I really need to give it a lift. It needs an upgrade. So I have to do a little bit of updating.
People look at your website?
Yeah, they can look at the website, SusieQ Fit Life. It's all about the fit life, SusieQ Fit Life. Yes, that can be done. You know, my life has changed so much because now it's about the boys. They didn't wake up yet, but when they do, everything changes.
Understood. So just in case they do, and also because we're going to wrap up, but I just want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for your time, for joining us on the podcast today, and for sharing your energy, your insights, and your very earnest perspectives on health, wellness, motherhood, a variety of topics. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story with us.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. That went by too fast. There's so much to say, but no, thank you, Candice. You're the best. You rock. And this is where you got to go. If you want to get no one visa and you're serious, this is who you're going to call right here. So,
Thank you so much, Susie, and have an amazing day, and talk to you soon, hopefully.
All right. Thank you. Enjoy. Have fun.
Bye,
Congratulations.
everyone. See you next time.
You've been tuning into Extraordinary Ability with your host, Candice Ackermann. Learn how you may qualify for O1, EB1, and IW visas, especially if you have been denied other U.S. visas. Please visit www.visalawpros.com to contact us and for other episodes. Thank you for your positive feedback, comments, questions, and for sharing this show with others.